Blair White and Lacey Green did a livestream recently, and at first I was impressed that Lacey agreed to this, because feminists usually aren't so tolerant. But then I just got disgusted, and I'm gonna show you why.
My bottom line feeling on this is an incredible amount of concern for people who have had their bodies violated in really violent, terrible ways. And like, we have to be careful about that, because that happens far more often. It's far bigger of a problem. Our responses to it are not proportional or empathetic as they need to be, and I think that should change.
I agree with that. I think that society does take rape extremely seriously. I think that, I mean,
what experience do you have with this though? Like, I've traveled the world talking about this stuff. Like, where is it? Just like you're talking about the media, like a couple of friends?
No. I was a victim at 18. I was a victim at 18.
Okay, that's fine. But like, you're talking about anecdotes.
What the fuck kind of reaction is that? I mean, the more you watch it, the more insane it becomes. Keep in mind that this is the biggest feminist on YouTube. 1 second she's talking about her incredible amount of sympathy for rape victims. The next second she shows no trace of sympathy for a rape victim. Look at her facial features. Look at the lack of emotion. And notice that once she hears that she's talking to someone who's been raped, it barely takes a second before she starts brushing it off.
No, I was a victim at 18. I was a victim at 18.
Okay, that's fine, but like, you're talking about anecdotes.
She immediately minimizes Blair's experiences in order to dismiss her perspective. This is Lacey's gut reaction. If Lacey Green has enormous sympathy for victims, it really doesn't show, because someone who does wouldn't dismiss their experience as a meaningless anecdote. And especially not when you're a super feminist whose entire narrative, whose entire argumentation is based upon anecdotes. Anecdotes where victims were treated exceptionally cruel, like Steubenville. Pay close attention during this following clip, because this is the definition of irony. This is before she started talking about her enormous sympathy for rape victims. Notice how everything she's saying can be directly used against her.
Particularly in certain situations, right? Where maybe the survivor is not like a sympathetic, perfect victim, right? Maybe they were drunk, or, you know, the whole "what were you wearing" question, like things that make people doubt whether or not it was real or legitimate, things like that. Those shape people's responses, and that's a real thing that happens.
Yeah, I know it happens. It happened 1 minute after you said this. Your response was fucked up because you weren't faced with the perfect victim. She didn't suit your personal biases of what a victim is supposed to think and be. So you shut off your empathy switch and started backpedaling on your own logic. Suddenly, we shouldn't listen to rape victims. They're just like anecdotal.
We need to be willing to face the truth, to approach justice honestly, even when the perpetrator is someone that we know and love. So to April Fletcher and any survivor who finds the strength to come forward on YouTube or beyond, I believe you. And one day I hope that the world does too.
Lacey Green has said that every rape victim should be believed. When you're that extremely concerned about respecting the experiences of victims, you should put a little more effort into your emotional reactions than this.
Okay, that's fine, but like, you're talking about anecdotes.
It seems like the only time Lacey truly cares about rape victims is when she can use them to make a political point. Otherwise, it's just like anecdotal. I genuinely feel bad for Blair having to sit there and take this. And it's tiresome to see feminists catch such a good rep for being women lovers when they can actually be the biggest fucking catty shrews of all sometimes. I mean, to me, this says that Lacey's fake. People like her are the reason you shouldn't trust someone who smiles too much. Because after this, I happened to come across her old videos.
Slut-shaming is when we insult a woman because she expressed her sexuality in a way that we don't like or approve of. Bottom line throughout the ages is that sluts are different kinds of girls who do bad stuff and disobey. So when I heard Johnny's question, I immediately thought of the one thing that I've done that I should feel guilty about, but I absolutely do not at all. My last 4 boyfriends, including the guy that I dated for 3 years, have all been a product of a little bit of homeworking. Slut-shaming is when we insult a woman because she expressed her sexuality in a way that we don't like or approve of.
Yeah, it's no wonder that you have a problem with the word slut. It can either be defined as a woman who likes sex, in which it becomes a positive word and a community service, or it can be defined as a woman with questionable sexual morals. And if you have a thing for fucking people who are taken to the point where you wreck 4 relationships in a row, I think the second one applies pretty well to you.
I'm a feminist because the media told me that women are my competition, destroying my friendships with them for almost 20 years.
I last 4 boyfriends, a little bit of homeworking.
Yeah, I'm sure the media is the reason why you fuck people's boyfriends. This is just a perfect example of how feminism can be used to rationalize away your personal flaws. And it's interesting to see how she changed her style. If you look at her old videos, it's basically basic bitch video blogging. She's just answering random questions, trying to be entertaining, not talking about anything political or particularly important. That constant smiling and let's be nice and fluffy towards everyone demeanor is nowhere to be found here.
This is what the bitches I went to high school with were like at school on Mondays.
Oh my god! Like, oh my god! Like, oh my god! Like, oh my god!
Then she redefined herself as a feminist cheerleader with a huge smile who never has anything bad to say about anyone. Maybe because she genuinely changed as a person, or maybe because social justice pays off both socially and financially. I mean, in reality, it seems like she's kind of a bitch.
But it's not like I set out with that to be my intention, it just happened. And besides, if the relationships fall apart so easily, there was a problem there to begin with, right? Right?
It seems like not even feminists are above behaving like a shitty female stereotype. Talk about girl power, then you fuck each other's boyfriends and talk shit behind each other's backs. Oy vey. But hey, I'm not saying that she's an evil mastermind. She's just kind of a poser. And posers can't tell if they're posers. She does seem genuinely attracted to feminism as an ideology, but she also seems to lack the self-distance to realize how hypocritical she's being sometimes. I could be all wrong here, so let me know what you think. In either case, I think it would be better if we as a society would value people according to how they behave and not what they claim to represent. It's way too often we see pretty words being used to cover up ugly things.